water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Mr. Liquor's the only place to find select bottles of bourbons and whiskeys custom etched with the most popular South Dakota landmarks, including Mount Rushmore, Pactola, and Sheridan Lakes, plus the B21 Raider Edition. Your choice for just $39.99. Or check out the brand new Jefferson Bourbon custom etched bottle celebrating America's 250th birthday. Also, save $11 off a $7.50 bottle of Crown Royal Chocolate, now only $19.99. Mr. Liquor, off Catron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Suspensions handed down in Major League Baseball today as Angels designated hitter Jorge Soler and Braves pitcher Reynaldo Lopez were each suspended 7 games for their role in last night's brawl in Anaheim. Both are appealing their suspension. Soler playing today for the Angels. They trail the Braves right now 8-2 in the 6th inning. Finals from earlier today include the Orioles dropping the White Sox 5-3. Rangers blanked the Mariners 3-0. Mackenzie Gore struck out 9 in 5 innings. Red Sox beat the Brewers 5-0. Guardians down the Royals by a score of 10-2. And the Padres won against Pittsburgh 8-2. Pirates and 19-year-old shortstop Connor Griffin agreed to terms on a 9-year extension worth $140 million. Former Dodger great and former Brewer skipper Davey Lopes has died at the age of 80. Pistons guard Cade Cunningham expected to play tonight for the first time in almost a month as they face the Bucks. He's missed the last 11 games because of a collapsed lung. Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle out for the Spurs. I'm Dan Byer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, how you doing? You doing okay? I hope you're doing great. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Welcome in the Wednesday edition of the program. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, and we're out of the gate. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Stream us all the time on X. You can find us there at Nate Brown Show. We are on X right now. Bring us up on the app X at Nate Brown Show. Also get us there on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. You've got us. And Midwest Sports Plus. Appreciate our partnership with the new high school sports streaming app, Midwest Sports Plus. Download the app. You've got this show, The Nate Brown Show, on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates across South Dakota welcome you in on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, great station, and Fox Sports Rapid City. We love it. Glad you're here. Next 2 hours, let's get after it. A lot of things popping in sports today. We'll cover it. Frank Schwab's going to be a guest for us tonight, national NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. A lot to discuss with Frank. He wrote a pretty big column for Yahoo Sports recently about this big-name quarterback who is not with a team yet. We'll get his take and more. Frank Schwab coming up, Yahoo Sports national NFL writer. Thor Nystrom is in tonight, NFL draft analyst. The draft is coming. Thor Nystrom's on. We'll break down Cole Payton at NDSU. Where does he think he goes and more? Thor Nystrom in, NFL draft analyst live from Minneapolis. He's with Score North, covers the Vikings as well. Kerry Miller's on one more time. I'm going to put him to work, national college basketball writer for the Bleacher report. Kerry Miller live from North Carolina. He's on tap tonight. A lot of great guests. We'll get after it. A lot of interesting stuff across the board. Let's get you on, be a part of the conversation. 605-720-1067. That's our number, 605-720-1067. Put it in. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Stop by 2 great locations, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. The Fun Zone Arcades are awesome. Bring the kids. Enjoy the best buffet in town. Locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Hit us on the Barron's Wilson text line as well if you want in. 605-720-1067. Put the Barron's Wilson text line into your phone. You can text the show, and we give away a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch to one listener each night on the program. So a free buffet will set you up to the Pizza Ranch just for answering the question of the day and being a part of the program that way, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch. So Barron's Wilson text line open and ready, 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Okay. Out of the gate on a Wednesday, you're getting in the car, you're wondering what's happening in the sports world. Well, the NCAA looks like they're exploring a significant change to eligibility. Now, I got to get into this. I got to break this down. There's a lot of problems with college sports, right? And I know that we've talked about this. You know, it's going great. People are watching games, and the ratings have been outstanding. It's all good. I haven't been just crying and whining about it. But there are significant issues with college sports and the transferring and the payments and the transfer portal with so many players in it and the new teams every year and how that trickles down to the Summit League and more. So there's all these issues. And the NCAA comes out with this vote next week that they're looking at changing a eligibility when it comes to age. So this one gets my attention because here's how this proposal would look. They don't want older guys, older gals coming in and playing forever. So you've heard about some of these challenges. Alabama tried bringing in an old player this year, and then that was next. Okay, so he was there, and then they didn't let him play. So there's been some of this stuff that has popped up. Guys that are like, hey, I played overseas, I've tried the NBA, I've tried the G League, and I want to do college now because there's all this money. So that's why the NCAA's come up with this today. Now, here's what I want to get at. I'm going to ask a question of the day for you guys to partake in this. So here's how this proposal works. Age-based standard. The NCAA board is going to vote on this next week. This would give student athletes a hard line, 5 years of eligibility from their high school graduation or their 19th birthday. Okay, 19 years old. If you're graduating high school a little bit later, there's some people that go 18, some go 19. Now some parents push the kids down. Some high school or college freshmen are 20. Some are coming in at 20. But this would be 19 years old or high school graduation. You get what? As a student athlete, you get 5 years to compete, 5 years to play. That's it. Hardline stance. That's the deal. Okay. There's a few exceptions. There's a few, and I'll get into, like, for example, religious. You think about maybe BYU. There's 2-year missions. So then you've got older players there. That I'm seeing the reporting today is not going to be a part of this. That type of thing, the religious mission. That's not going to be a part of this rule, so that would be a waiver, so to speak. But there's not going to be a lot of like, yeah, we'll let this go, we'll let that go, we'll let this go. It doesn't sound like that. For example, I'm going to go to a junior college. Let's say I go to a junior college. I'm going to play 2 years. I'm going to work into the grade side of this, the academic side. I'm going to get an opportunity. That stuff would still apply because it's your age. So if you come out of a junior college at 21 years old, Well, you only have a few years left. Okay, so it all depends on it's age based. 19-year-old freshmen would get 5 years eligibility. 20-year-olds coming in later, 21-year-olds, it goes on down the line. Okay, here's one of the big things on this. NCAA's, they got all these issues, and we talk about them a lot. They're trying to figure out how can we enforce some of this stuff. Well, they've just given up on transfers. That's over. They've given up on NIL. That's over. But now all of a sudden they're like, well, maybe we can enforce this one, the age-based category. Just give the student athletes 5 years and call it good. Hey, what about medical injuries? What about medical red shirts? You guys have heard of this, right? If you've followed college athletics and maybe had kids do it, whatever. Medical red shirts would be gone. So the medical red shirts would be off the table. No red shirts at all, as a matter of fact. Hey, I'm going to come in. I'm going to wait a little bit, not play. I'm going to get red shirted, so I got that extra year. No, they're already giving you the extra year. They're going to bake that into this new rule that they're going to vote on next week. 5 years eligibility. That's it. End of story. No medical red shirts. The JUCO thing, it is what it is. It's however old you are coming out of the JUCO. You got a few years left. You got a couple of years left. You can't just play until you're 27. You can't be coming in from overseas or the NBA G League. You've been there a few years. You're going to come back. 5 years, everybody. That's it. So let me ask you the question of the day tonight. This, I think, is going to get fans to say, well, this might work out. Maybe, we don't want 27-year-olds here. We don't want some person to go pro and then it doesn't work out and then come back and play college sports with, hey, now I can make money in college sports. Most fans would say we don't want that, but is there going to be other consequences here? Some other ramifications that maybe the NCAA, in all their wisdom, is not thinking about. So, if you get here's my question tonight. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Hit us up on the text line if you can. 605-720-1067. Your answer is this. NCAA is looking at eligibility, 5 years to play from high school graduation. Not just, right now it's been 4. And then you get the redshirt stuff. And then there's really no other, there's all these waivers that people got. There's all these, I applied for this waiver and that waiver, and it seems like it was always granted. So we had all these guys sticking around. But, for example, do you like the 5 years, no red shirts, none of that stuff, 5 years, is that a hard line cutoff? Are you on board? That's my question of the day. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Chime in. Question of the day. We'll set you up with a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. Pull out a winner tonight in our question of the day. Just send in your answer. 5-year cutoff from the NCAA. Looks like they're going to vote on this next week. And guess what happens then the next day? Lawsuits. Are attorneys ready for this? Hey, my client got hurt. They got hurt, and you're going to take away this educational benefit? You're gonna keep my client out of this deal because of this made-up rule? 5 years eligibility? I got hurt 2 years in a row, and you're going to take my eligibility away when I couldn't play? I can just see it. I can see it now. By the way, I went to a JUCO. That shouldn't count. No. This is a made-up age thing. I can do what I want. I'm not playing for the NCAA. I should get a new 5 years. A new 5 years, right? That's what I should get, right? Let me see what you say. No red shirts or waivers. Some of the stuff, religious stuff is going to not be included in this, so I mentioned that. But it's not going to be a lot of exceptions. Not a lot of exceptions. Listener reaction. The NCAA may actually get one right. Just sent in. The NCAA may actually get one right. What do you say? 5-year cutoff. Is it good or not? 5-year cutoff, okay? Let's see. 83% are saying yes, cut it off at 5 years. That's just on our Twitter poll right now. 83% cut it off at 5 years. 17% voting no, it's too restrictive for certain circumstances. So it's heavy. I figured you guys would say, yeah, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. By the way, I just got a listener text from somebody that knows his stuff, and he said this is D1 only. Remember, this is D1 only. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good clarification. So D1 only, NCAA's voting next week. And I joke about the lawsuits after they vote on this. I joke about that, but that's actually real. I mean, you guys know this. Everything the NCAA has done the last 5 years, the lawsuit just hits them. Well, you can't stop me from transferring. Well, you can't stop me from getting paid this and transferring again. You can't have me sit out. I mean, you guys can't do this to me. It stops my earning capacity and all of that stuff. So all of this stuff's going to be coming. I don't know if the NCAA is saying, hey, we're actually going to fix this now. Does the NCAA have teeth or don't they? They're going to vote on this next week. I can just see the lawsuits coming. Medical, JUCO, I mean, all of that stuff. You're going to say you're limiting me to earning capacity and all of that stuff that we've seen before. And the attorneys, I think, are going to take this down the road. So is this going to even come to fruition 5 years? It seems like it's okay, but I do take a little step back. If I get hurt, if I had a season-ending injury, was the medical red shirt, was that really a big problem in college sports? I sure wouldn't think so. So, like a medical red shirt, that's a killer to me. So you lose a whole year, and I guess with this, it's like, well, you're out of luck. Sorry, you're out of luck. So I think they go from 0 to 100 and say, hey, we're not going to have a lot of this stuff. By the way, junior hockey. So I'm not a hockey expert, but like you got Sioux Falls Stampede. Some of these guys are playing, and then they're entering college a little bit later. So you're talking about college hockey players that are a little bit older anyway. And so you're talking D1, you're playing junior hockey at a pretty high level, and then you're going college. They're going to go in like at 20, 21. So this will be interesting to see. Is hockey going to be treated like this from 19 years old? Are they going to play some junior hockey maybe for a couple of years and then do the D1 hockey stuff? So that was pointed out from the hockey side of this. So, I mean, there's just so many. It seems like it's okay. Like, just give 5 years. The red shirt stuff happens. So let's just give everybody 5 years. What if I just did the 4 years just now? I just wrapped up my basketball season right now, and I have 5 years now. Are you guys going to let me play next year? Am I? Can I get grandfathered in? I thought I was done this year. I can come back next year? Man, I better get into the transfer portal and see where I want to go. See, here's all the stuff coming. Let's see. Do you support it? 5 years, hard cutoff, D1, from 19 years old or high school graduation. That's the NCAA vote next week. 5 years, hard cutoff, eligibility for student athletes to play. Do you like it? Lister text. The NCAA, if this is all we get at least they're doing something. Okay, I like that. There was a little more to that text I couldn't quite get into. It's a family-friendly show, but that's good stuff. Lister text, what about kids that go into the military for 2 years after high school? Good question. There's a few of this stuff. You dig into it. Some of the religious stuff's not going to be a part of this. What about military? What about there's all these certain circumstances that I wonder if people are going to get wound up by. Lister text, what's the point of the NCAA anymore? They can't enforce or make policies. Instead, they're constantly begging the government to make laws to protect them. Lister text, I don't feel sorry for the NCAA or the universities. They created the mess, and the chickens have come home to roost. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, the NCAA really hasn't tried to enforce much. They haven't tried to enforce much. Money, transfers, every which way, every year. Jeff Goodman's reporting today. By the way, Jeff Goodman, college basketball analyst, Field of 68. Jeff Goodman is saying, you know how many transfers are in basketball portal? You know how many? 42% of Division I. That's what he's got today. Of all the players on rosters across the country, Division I, Jeff Goodman saying 42% are in the transfer portal today. Can you believe that? NCAA trying to make a move, 5 years eligibility. Are you on board? I kind of sat here and said, yeah, it sounds okay. It sounds okay, but, you know, I've received the text on the text line tonight. Even people here in South Dakota, they're like, well, what about this? What about that? So you know there's going to be, what about this circumstance? What about this lawsuit? What about that? I mean, it's coming. I joked about it, saying they're going to vote next week on 5 years eligibility for college athletes, and then the next lawsuit will be filed the next day. Do you support 5 years college eligibility? Hardline cutoff from 19 years old or your high school graduation. 605-720-1067. Keep them coming on the text line. We'll go to the NFL. Frank Schwab is covering it. There's some pretty big stories with the NFL, like Days of Our Lives, soap opera stuff. And it's kind of getting lost in translation. Let's cover some of this. Frank Schwab with Yahoo Sports coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit rapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos. But is it really a casino? Should I play here? Liquor 1 minute and then board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation. Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
To the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Just getting going on a Wednesday. A lot to cover tonight. Thor Nystrom's on the way, NFL draft analyst, Score North, live from Minneapolis. Kerry Miller's on the way, college basketball national writer for Bleacher Report. He's on tap. Some big players going into the transfer portal. I mean, big players from big programs. Nebraska just lost a starter, and he just got a tattoo on his arm, like a Nebraska record tattoo on his arm, and he's into the portal today. It's just wild. All right, Kerry Miller's coming up. Let's go NFL a little bit more with Frank Schwab. He's back in national NFL coverage from Yahoo Sports. Frank Schwab on tonight. Frank, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, good, Nate. How's it going?
Good, man. I appreciate your time. As always, I want to ask you about a couple of things here. There's this, kind of bizarre, Vrabel, Diana Rossini story that's, they say nothing to it. People have been throwing it around all over social media. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't know what the real story is. I am going to get into this Troy Aikman thing, which is like below the radar. Troy Aikman's been a consultant for the Miami Dolphins just in their search for a GM, their search for a coach, and now maybe a little bit more to help them out in certain ways. My big thing is, what do you think of broadcasters, the Troy Aikmans, the Tom Bradys, being with teams in the NFL?
Well, I think that the NFL got itself into a bind here because they allowed Brady to do it. And I know why they allowed Brady to do it. We all know why they allowed Brady to do it, because Fox pays them a ton of money for TV rights. So the NFL wasn't going to say, hey, Fox, you can't have your $330 million announcer on games anymore. So they just let it go. Well, that kind of opened the door for every other team to say, well, if that's okay for them, then it should be okay for us. Give Troy Aikman a call. I'm sure, like, Greg Olson's going to get a call next, and, whoever, because these guys do have, information, insight that generally maybe somebody else doesn't have. So, yeah, I don't like it, but I didn't like it with Brady either. But the NFL allowed it, so I think we're just stuck in this. What can they do? They can't tell the Dolphins no after they told the Raiders yes. So, yeah, I think the NFL has kind of opened this box, and they're going to have a tough time closing it.
NFL has declined comment right now. They were asked, hey, Troy Aikman being a short-term consultant for the Miami Dolphins, what's your comment there? And he even said in that interview, Frank, he goes, when Troy Aikman was talking, he said, I'm pulling for the Dolphins. How do you think fans view this? It's like they say, well, reporters and analysts and stuff, we want honesty. We want, you can't be biased. So how do fans view Troy Aikman if he's a Dolphins employee or a consultant?
Yeah, I mean, especially if he's doing Dolphins games, which he doesn't do many of. They're not going to be on Monday night very often in the next couple of years. But there will be conflicts. But there's conflicts. TJ Watt or JJ Watt does Steelers games with his brother playing there, and there are conflicts like that. So you do see that. I don't think fans understand it, but yes, if I'm watching a Dolphins game that ESPN's doing with Troy Aikman, you kind of have to realize, he's already, he's kind of on the payroll, so you have to take everything a little bit with a grain of salt.
Do you think NFL teams knew that Troy Aikman was working with the Dolphins?
I don't know if they knew the extent. I really don't. And Troy's in that mode the last few years anyway, that He just doesn't care much anymore as far as like what he says or hurting anybody's feelings or anything like that. I like it, actually. I think he's become a really, really good announcer because of it. And, I think he just kind of said, hey, yeah, this is the truth. This is what it is. And I'm sure a few NFL teams were like, oh, I didn't quite realize that. So, yeah, I think it came as a surprise to a few people.
Frank Schwab on tonight. NFL coverage from him at Yahoo Schwab on X. Find him at yahoosports.com. The only thing I will ask on this, people are like concerned saying, well, Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, I don't know what's going on there, but I wonder if she's a trustworthy reporter. And it sounds like now, well, if we're not worried about Troy Aikman, he was a consultant with the Dolphins. It seems like there's a double standard there. Am I off?
It just seems like two very different situations to me. I don't know that you can equate the two, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know if that's an apples to apples comparison.
All right, I guess we'll see where this goes. I don't know if it's going to go very far or not. Frank Schwab in tonight. By the way, I saw your story. You wrote about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Is this going to go on for a while? What do you think is really happening with it?
I think everybody kind of assumes anyway that there's some deal in place. Aaron says, you know what, I'm not going to sign today because I don't want to deal with the whole questions about me missing the off season. I'll sign this date. It'll be fine. But, okay, that's great, I guess. Fine. And I think that's why Kirk Cousins signed with the Raiders. If we're connecting dots and trying to play detective here, I think if Kirk Cousins knew if he thought he had a shot to start with the Steelers, why would you go to the Raiders where you know that the number one pick in the draft is going to take over at some point? So that was kind of the telltale sign to me that something's up. Obviously, we all expect Aaron to go back to the Steelers. But I don't know if it's official till it's official, and even if he does go to them, okay, he's a 43-year-old quarterback. 43-year-old quarterbacks don't improve. Like we saw every single year we watch Aaron Rodgers, the last year is going to be the best year we're going to see him until he retires, right? Like it's not going to get better. There's only one way quarterbacks in their 40s go, and it's down. And we said, the Steelers won the division. That was fun. That was great. But they needed a missed field goal to do that and got blown out in the first round of the playoffs. And that's exactly what Steelers fans are upset about. It's what they're frustrated by. It's by this team consistently kind of swinging for singles. And, it's great to, again, make the playoffs and be competitive and have winning seasons. But Aaron Rodgers is not getting them any closer to a Super Bowl. He's just not. I have nothing against Aaron Rodgers. This isn't a rant about him or anything like that. It's just I was impressed with how well he played last year for his age, but it was an average year. And that's great for a 42-year-old quarterback, but I don't assume he's going to be above average at age 43. So why did the Steelers get themselves in this situation again where they're kind of waiting on Rodgers and putting everything on hold for Aaron Rodgers? Why? So he can bring back a 43-year-old quarterback? I just don't get it. I just don't think it's smart for the Steelers.
You think Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers are a good combo?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, again, great in 2010, 2011. A lot of things that were different in 2010, 2011. That was 15 years ago. I think it's fine. Again, what's the upside? Do we really think Aaron Rodgers is throwing for 40 touchdowns? No. Maybe. I mean, he is one of the all-time greats, maybe the greatest, but the 43-year-old quarterbacks just don't have sudden resurgences, unless your name's Tom Brady, and he's a cyborg. So I just don't see it. I don't. Yeah, I think they're a fine fit, McCarthy and Rodgers, but I also don't think that raises the bar for the Steelers very high.
Frank Schwab on tonight. Couple more. He's with YahooSports.com, national NFL writer on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. I haven't had you on since Kyler Murray's official in Minnesota. What do you say about the Vikings making that play? Can Kyler Murray get going again?
I don't think so. I've heard this is Kyler Murray's breakout season for 6 straight years now, and at some point he's played a lot of football. We just kind of know who Kyler is at this. It's great that the Vikings didn't pay anything for him, but I want somebody to make an argument for this signing without mentioning how much he's getting paid. Because otherwise, I mean, that's fine. That's great. You're not paying him anything. Well, is he really going to be great? I don't think so. Look, Kevin O'Connell's really, really good at quarterbacks, and maybe he can do this. Maybe he can pull a Sam Darnold with Kyler Murray. I don't think that's completely off the table, but I think that the optimism out there for Kyler and the Vikings, have you watched Kyler play? He's just what he is. He's fine. He's your average NFL starting quarterback at best. And I just don't think there's another gear there. I think we would have seen it by now. With Darnold was in terrible situations. And maybe that's the argument for Kyler, that the Arizona Cardinals are one of those franchises going to hold players back. But I don't know. I don't see it. I don't. And also, that signing basically throws in a towel on the 10th pick of the draft from a year ago. 2 years ago, I guess it was. So that's not a win. That's not really a fun day for the Vikings to be like, yeah, we don't trust our 10th pick of the draft from the 10th pick of the 2024 draft to start another game, because it's clear Kyler's going to start unless he just falls flat on his face. So the whole thing was like, I get it. I get why they did it. But I also am not going to sit here and do cartwheels, because I don't think Kyler Murray is really going to be any better than we've seen already.
So you're in Denver. The Broncos get Jalen Waddle, and they really don't do much else. Are the Broncos fine with that?
Yeah, I think that, look, I thought just that one move, they had a great offseason. Just that. And before that, I was like everybody else. I'm like, really? They're not going to do anything? Sean Payton's got all his money, and he's just going to sit on his hands? That's unlike him. But then they make this huge move. I think Jalen Waddle's, is he the best player to change teams this offseason? He might be. He gets close. Maybe there's a guy or two ahead of him, but I think Jalen Waddle is a difference-making receiver, which is exactly what the Broncos needed. And, yeah, okay, they traded a first-round pick in this draft. This draft isn't that good. Like, I think a first-round pick in this year's draft, late first-rounder anyway, it was like a second-rounder in most drafts. So I don't think the cost was that much. It was perfect for what they needed, and just that one move. They completely did a 180 on their offseason. I said, this is a good offseason, because they got a difference maker at a position they absolutely needed to get one at. So, yeah, would their offseason have been better even if they would have signed Kenneth Walker or ETN? Of course, but I think that they just said, this is the move we're going to make, and I'm very impressed by that move they did make.
Frank Schwab back on tonight, yahoosports.com. His work is there. He's on X at Yahoo Schwab. Follow him if you're not. Frank, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely appreciate it.
All right, Frank Schwab on the Nate Brown Show. Good to have him back. National NFL writer, getting us started. Little off-season stuff, and he said Aaron Rodgers is going back to the Steelers. It's just going to take a little while, I guess. Aaron Rodgers going back to the Steelers. How do you guys feel? I've told you Aaron's been a hat rack for a couple of years now. I mean, he's not gonna be a killer. Aaron's not a killer anymore. So Aaron Rodgers, he says, going back to the Steelers. You just haven't heard it yet. And that Troy Aikman story, I'm going to get into this a little bit more because it's getting glossed over. Nobody likes talking about it. I haven't heard any of the national radio shows mention much on it. We're worried about Troy and ESPN. And so Troy Aikman becoming a consultant for the Miami Dolphins. I have some Dolphins fans that listen to this program. This isn't a Dolphins indictment. It's not that. Do we care about broadcasters like, it's almost like secretly being employed as consultants for teams? So let's see. Let's bring this into South Dakota. This would be like me being employed and doing play-by-play, like doing the video stream and all that stuff for Dave Hollenbeck in West Central, and going and doing games and stuff with Sioux Falls Christian, and they didn't quite know I was on the inside of the Trojans. Would you guys like that? I could give some inside information to Sioux Falls Christian. Wow, I'm working with West Central here. I got some inside information. I don't think you'd like it, yet we're going to let it go with Troy in the NFL. Quite something. Kerry Miller's on next, national college basketball writer for Bleacher Report. So many players in the transfer portal, it'll make your head spin, and some big name players from big programs. Kerry Miller on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Spring is here and Splash City is blooming with savings. It's their spring kickoff sale. Your backyard retreat is calling. Imagine relaxing, soaking away the day in a brand new Sundance or jacuzzi spa from Splash City. During the spring kickoff sale, get 0% financing for 72 months or save up to $5,000 in instant rebates. Why Splash City? Highest quality brands, largest dealer in spas and hot tubs in the region, and you get huge savings every time. Don't wait. Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City today.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback credit card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Get ready to swing into spring at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort with grand prize drawings that will win you a different kind of green. We've teamed up with Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club to bring you grand prize drawings every Friday and Saturday night in April. We'll draw for free rounds of golf, and one lucky winner each night will win a couple's membership. Swing into spring and take your game to the next level. Exclusively at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort in Deadwood.
Doesn't matter where your ride's from. At Al's D&I, we baby them, every single one. Got a ride from across the pond? No worries. Let the ASE certified pros at Al's D&I pamper your pride and joy. Foreign or domestic, maintenance or repair. Doesn't matter if it requires special parts or tools or if its owner's manual is in another language. At Al's D&I, we don't care where your ride's from, but we do take great care to treat your ride like it is our own. Drive on in to Al's D&I, Sturgis Road, and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, VP, money get 200 VP here, no 75, 275, now 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for making this show possible. Have you answered our question of the day? Up for grabs, a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. Our great partners, the Pizza Ranch, two great East River locations. East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. Stop by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Free buffet up for grabs on a question of the day on the text line. Just answer the question of the day. We give away a buffet a day. How about that? A buffet a day from the Nate Brown Show. You can't beat it. 605-720-1067 is the text line for you. Question of the day. Do you like the NCAA's new proposal of a 5-year eligibility hard line? So what's that mean if you haven't heard? They're going to give athletes, or they're going to vote on this next week. Athletes 5 years after high school graduation to play, or 19 years old. Okay, whichever comes first there. 19 years old or 5 years after high school graduation. That's it. None of that medical red shirt stuff, it looks like. There's few exceptions. Do you like a 5-year eligibility for everybody? Let's go to Kerry Miller back on tonight after covering the tournament. National College Basketball coverage at BleacherReport.com. Kerry, welcome in. How are you?
Nate, I'm doing pretty well. How are we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for your time after a tournament. I was going to talk about the tournament a little bit, but I want to get your read on a couple of things here. First, this NCAA eligibility proposal. So the NCAA is trying to do something to stop guys coming from the NBA, G League, or whatever, and coming back. And there was that thing with the Alabama older player trying to play, and they stopped that. So the NCAA is trying to do something. 5 years for everybody across the board in D1. Very few exceptions. What do you think of the general idea?
Yeah, I think that's what it used to be, right? We're just going back to how things used to be. And, I mean, that's good. There needs to be some sort of limit on it. I know there used to be a rule that, for guys trying to come back from the G League, they were trying to exploit the rule of, you can come back within 5 years of your window or whatever. I mean, that's what the Bediako situation was, because I think he left after 2 years, and so he had 1 year remaining. But now we've got, the kid who first came back, James Najee, went to Baylor, and now he's in the transfer portal. He's trying to get another year of eligibility. It's just such a mess, man. Whatever we can do, let's keep the tournament at 68. Frankly, let's go back to 64, and you get 4 years of eligibility, and let's just go back to the 1985 time.
Okay, all right. I like guys like you, and I'm not the only one yelling at the clouds sometimes, but it is changing. I think here's how I see it. I'm like, if everybody gets 5 years, I'm like, okay, the red shirt stuff and the waivers and all that, everybody gets 5 years, that should be good. But I do want to say, so let's say I get an injury, I'm out for a year. I get an injury 2 years later, I'm out for a year. So the medical redshirt piece really wouldn't be a part of this. That seems harsh, but I don't know if you just sacrifice one for the other.
Yeah, I agree that there will probably be, if not initially, eventually you'll have those, exceptions worked in. I know they're planning on having, guys who leave for military or guys who leave for a Mormon mission or whatever, they're getting exceptions.
Okay.
But I'm sure there will be some sort of injury exception. But, I mean, this all started, who was the tight end from Miami who ended up playing 8 years because he had a medical red shirt and had a couple of years where he didn't play enough to exhaust a year of eligibility, and he got the COVID year. It's just, it turned crazy around 2020, and I think they're still trying to figure out that in addition to all the NIL and unlimited transfers and all that. And I think that was part of it too, wasn't it? That it's you have 5 years and you get one free transfer basically. I think so we're going back to what it was a decade ago, which I'm all for.
By the way, I did joke and I said there's going to be the vote next week on this, 5 years eligibility from high school graduation or 19 years old. And then I said somebody's going to come over the lawsuit the next day to challenge it in some way. And that's really what the NCAA has had to try and fight off, and then they just can't. We'll see where this goes. That'll be voted on next week, 5 year eligibility for everybody across the board with a few exceptions. Okay, how about this transfer portal, Kerry? You've got it open yesterday. Over 1,600 players. And when you look at the D1 players available, they're just D1 players in college basketball, we're up over 40% are in the transfer portal. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it's insane. And it used to be, I remember doing kind of research on the portal I don't know, almost a decade ago at this point. It's probably 2018, somewhere in that range. And we had close to 1,000 back then. Now it's over 2,000 by the time all is said and done. But it used to be, there'd be 25 to 50 guys that anybody actually really wanted. It was mostly like, end of the bench guys and, maybe some up transfers or what have you. But now, like, you look through like 24/7's rankings and go down to like 150, and it's like, oh boy, that guy could probably play on Duke or Kansas. It's wild how just everybody's in the portal now. And I know that right back when they started letting you test the draft waters, I remember John Calipari was the first one who was like, I'm just going to tell all my guys to go test the waters and then, find out and then come back if you want. And I think that's kind of where we're at with the portal, where everybody's just like, well, why wouldn't I open that door and then just see where it takes me, knowing that I can probably go back to where I started if I feel like it. And then I guess we'll eventually have to figure out, the numbers on who stays and who goes and all that. But it's getting to a point where it's just every single year everybody's a free agent. And I don't know who wants that. I don't even know if the players want that or if they just feel like they have to, at least explore that option since it's there.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. I'm looking at a couple of players, Badinga at Kansas. I mean, he averaged double figures, was an impact player for him. This is Kansas, and he's into the portal. Can you explain that one?
Not really. And Bryson Tiller from Kansas, Elmarco Jackson from Kansas.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just don't want Bill Self back. Like, they waited until he announced he was coming back for another year, and then they all jumped in the portal. So I don't know what's going on. Obviously, you had the whole, Darren Peterson thing last year. Maybe there's just something in the waters there in Lawrence. But you got Rob Wright from BYU just went in the portal. He came over from Baylor and was really good for the Cougars for 1 year, and now I guess he's looking for more money. John Blackwell from Wisconsin, I think, went in on Monday. I see P.J. Haggerty's back in there for what I think is the fifth time. It's just,
oh my,
it's out of control.
I did see Nebraska. Burke, he's a forward. He was a pretty impact player for the Huskers, was a starter. He got a tattoo or showed a tattoo on his arm of the record for the Huskers, 28-7 yesterday. And then he's into the portal today. And it goes to say, I think you're saying, well, people are just testing this out just to see.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're seeing more of that. I mean, I haven't looked at it, what it was last year or 2 years ago compared to what it was 8-9 years ago. But you do see the occasional, at least, guy who will go in the portal and then, a week or two later he has a change of heart, which may have come from a change of bank account balance. But, I think guys are at least willing to reconsider. The portal's it's a two-way portal, right? You don't have to jump in and then you're not allowed back.
Yeah, Gary Miller on tonight talking college basketball. The portal's open. Huge number of players in it right now. BleacherReport.com for his coverage. I do want to get your read on college basketball in general. You just covered it again. You said, man, I don't want to ever take this for granted. Covering the Final Four of the national championship. Ratings are really good. Interest is really good. People say, well, that's good. College basketball's in a good spot. But then we just talked about this other stuff that are fans affected by this? Is there a trickle down?
I think there will be in due time. I think we had a pretty magical year with, your DeBonces, your Petersons, your Boozers. I think there was a lot more NBA interest in college basketball than we usually see. I mean, I haven't looked at a mock draft lately, but I think the entire lottery is expected to be coming from the college ranks, which really hasn't been the case lately. Usually you had a couple of guys who went straight from high school to the G League, some European guys, but now you've got the European guys coming over here for a year of college and getting paid and then going to the NBA. So the landscape has changed. I think the quality of play is better. I think we're having coaches figure out how to use the portal. We certainly saw that from Dusty May in Michigan. Rick Pitino has sure as heck figured it out over the last couple of years at St. John's. And I think just looking at, overall efficiency via KenPom and stuff, like all the play has gotten better. I think the actual product has improved. It's all the stuff off the court that is starting to frustrate everybody, fans and people who cover the sport alike. So we'll see if there is eventually an effect. But like you said, the ratings were high. We just saw the information that the championship game was like the highest rated ever, maybe since the 79 Bird Magic game. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but the game's in a good spot. It's just the roster building of the game that's not in a great spot.
I do want to say, you think about this moving forward. Florida tried running it back. They couldn't. They won it last year. Michigan brought in transfers. Can you run it back? Is it harder to run back for programs?
I think it depends. And I think Dusty May talked about this last week, and I know Rick Barnes at Tennessee has talked about this before, where it's tough to rebuild like an entire roster through the portal, but also like you're getting battle-tested guys now as opposed to, really relying on freshmen where you're having to spend hours and hours recruiting them, and you don't know if they'll come there. You don't know if they'll actually be good. Now I think guys, those upper echelon teams who are able to, take advantage of the mid-majors and, all the up transfers, they're getting finished products now, and I think it is quicker to turn things around than it used to be. Florida, like you said, they won it all last year. They were a 1 seed this year. They could have won it all again if they hadn't just had a tough night against Iowa.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more and more of this. I mean, you have to, because half of the country is in the portal, but I think you're going to see more and more teams just almost entirely building a starting five out of transfers.
Kerry Miller on tonight. Find him at BleacherReport.com. A quick one. You've covered North Carolina, Duke, the ACC. Mike Malone from the Nuggets to UNC. Does that work?
Who knows? I know I think I saw Jay Williams was saying like this. It makes sense to go this route because the game is becoming more. College game is more NBA-like than it used to be. Obviously, it's not the point totals. You watch an NBA game, it's like 140 to 120, and we're lucky if teams score in the 90s in college basketball. But I think the general flow of the game is becoming more NBA-like, so maybe this works. They're certainly making a financial investment. What was it, like 6 years, $50 million or something insane for a guy who's never even coached. I know he was an assistant 20-some years ago in college, but he's never coached at this level. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out.
Kerry Miller on tonight. We got him one more time. Now we're going to give him a breather. All right, he's put in work. BleacherReport.com for the coverage. College basketball. Find him on X. Carence James. Kerry, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Take care, Nate.
Appreciate it. Kerry Miller on tonight from Bleacher Report, national college basketball writer for Bleacher Report, just back from Indianapolis. Good stuff. Good stuff. 42% of Division I basketball players available are into the transfer portal today. That's an interesting point that Kerry just pointed out. He's like, almost everybody does it. I mean, if you're thinking about that, 42% of players that are available go to the transfer portal. He's saying they're just doing it just to see. Just to see. Let's see. I got a listener text here. I want to find this one. Listener text, Nate, I don't understand the simple economics of the portal or the pay-to-play. Dan Patrick said his source projected up to 1,100 players to enter the transfer portal. Well, it's over 1,600 today. So I just got this. It's over 1,600. If you have that many players in the portal, the listener says there's no way economically it works out for most of the players. Well, yeah, I mean, that's right. So there's 42% are in the portal. So who's going to get big money? Not that many. Not that many. Nebraska starting player into the portal today. Duke. He wasn't a starting player. Hymenia. He's a freshman. He's a nice player. I think the guy's going to be good. He got to play quite a bit. Hymenia into the portal. I mean, you're seeing starting players at Kansas today. Starters at Kansas. This isn't just some other team. This is Kansas. Bill Self. He's losing starters into the portal. Are they going to come back to Kansas? Maybe. I don't know. That's just wild. I don't remember that. I don't remember, like, starters at Kansas going into the portal. I don't remember that over the past years. I do not remember that. All right. Coming right back, I want to get into the Troy Aikman saga. I just want to get into this. Troy Aikman, broadcaster, Monday Night Football, ESPN, and consultant for the Miami Dolphins. Should we care at all a broadcaster working games and working with a team? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Glad you're here. Thanks for making the show possible. We appreciate you. Great guest tonight. First hour in the books already. We got a second hour to discuss here. Big news out of Rapid City when it comes to schools. I'm going to get into that. I will get into that. It's time to educate. Make sure we're doing the right thing. So we'll get into that in Rapid City coming up. The Nate Brown Show heard across South Dakota on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Thor Nystrom's on the way. NFL draft analyst with Score North in Minneapolis. We'll get into the draft a little bit. We haven't hit that a lot, so Thor Nystrom's coming up. Where's Cole Payton going to go, this North Dakota State quarterback? Like, he's starting to get some big attention here, so Thor Nystrom's coming up. Barron's Wilson text line is open. If you haven't been a part of the program, you should know the Barron's Wilson text line for you, 605-720-1067. That's how you can be a part of the conversation. The Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. So let me ask you a few things on here. Let me ask you. Here's what came out over the weekend, and I mean, hasn't been discussed hardly at all. Hasn't been discussed hardly at all. I mean, I listen to Fox Sports Radio. I see the national shows, all this and that. They're not really wanting to discuss this much. That Troy Aikman, the color man for ESPN's Monday Night Football, was working with the Miami Dolphins, had a short-term stint as a consultant as they were looking for their head coach, general manager. Troy Aikman was essentially employed there with the Dolphins to give them insight, analysis, and all of that stuff on that stuff. And Pro Football Talk is saying he's going to have an ongoing role with the Miami Dolphins. He's going to have an ongoing role. And Aikman really talked about it. He was doing an interview with a Dallas sports writer, and he said, the Dolphins are smart. They were smart to bring me in and ask me about stuff that I have access to that they don't have access to. You know, I have relationships. And then he said this, I will say I'm pulling for the Dolphins because now I have something at stake. I'm pulling for hang on a second. Here's what I want to ask you all. You know John Elway. Oh, yes, the great John Elway. What if John Elway was a color man? What if he was the color man and he was out here working for the Denver Broncos? He was out here working for the Broncos as a consultant, and not a lot of people maybe knew about that, but he's working as a consultant and helping them with things and running running stuff, and he's a broadcaster doing Monday Night Football. Let's just I'm going to bring the Broncos into this. I think you guys would have absolutely destroyed John Elway. I think you would have destroyed Lord John Elway. Not how I destroyed him when he made bad draft picks, but that's what I'm saying. I think people are kind of like, well, it's the Dolphins. It's Troy Aikman. No, what I'm telling you is there is still a conflict there. So I said I didn't like the Tom Brady stuff, so you got to be consistent with it. Tom Brady is a broadcaster for Fox and an owner of the Raiders, like pretty heavily involved here now. I mean, I don't think that's a good look at all. I don't think it's a good look at all. And now you got the Dolphins doing it with Troy Aikman, okay? And he was like saying, well, the Cowboys never reached out to me. He said that in the interview. The Cowboys, I mean, that's Troy's team. They never reached out to me. They probably didn't really think it was a good deal. I mean, hey, Troy, you want to work for us? I mean, you're a broadcaster. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Jerry Jones, a little old school, whether you like Jerry or not. I don't think we can have broadcasters. They're supposed to provide fans analysis, unbiased. Here's the line. Troy Aikman, I'm pulling for the Dolphins. I'm pulling. So when you're watching the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, Troy's criticizing the Bills, the GM, the coach, whoever. Gee, I wonder why. So you can't have somebody that's working for an AFC East team and then he's covering the Bills on Monday Night Football? It's the same story with Tom Brady. I don't want Tom doing any Bronco games, I will tell you that. I don't want Tom even touching Bronco games. You can't trust that. So I'm not going down this road. Lister text, Tom Brady set this. It's not that deep. Oh, yeah, it's real deep. It's real deep. It's called double dipping. Double dipping. I mean, we wouldn't put up with this in South Dakota high school sports. I'm doing play-by-play. You got all this, and I'm talking to coaches, and I'm talking to them about their lineup and their strategy and what they're looking at doing and how their team's going to be. Then I run over to this coach, and, well, I'm pulling for this team, but, yeah, did you ever hear about what these guys are? These guys maybe might do this, might do that, have this cooking a little bit, might try this year. Can't have this. So, listener text, it is the Dolphins. They're still going to stink. All right. Let's see. Another listener text coming in. I bet you if the Dolphins and Raiders were a national brand, people in the media would be up in arms about this. If it was a team like the Cowboys or the Chiefs, there would be riots in the streets. Very interesting. So that's a good point. Let's say Troy was hired by Jerry Jones, the Cowboys. Let's say he was a consultant for the Cowboys. And then he's still a broadcaster for ESPN. Yes, people would lose their mind. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But now it's the Dolphins. It's the Raiders. I don't like it. I don't like it. Lister text, Tom and Troy, not a good look. Lister text, Tom and Troy, not a good look. Let's see, Lister text. I think Frank Schwab nailed it on your show when he said the NFL really doesn't have a choice when it comes to Aikman now, since they already let it go with Tom Brady. So who else then? I mean, everybody can do this now, right? J.J. Watt. Why not J.J.? Why not Mark Schlereth, right? Former Bronco. He does games for Fox. Why not Mark Schlereth? He could double dip. Everybody's getting into... It's like, yeah, I'm going to be a consultant. I mean, you can't do it. I do not think you should have broadcasters, analysts, people that are communicating with teams and meeting coaches and players and getting inside info. You can't have them working for another team. Can't have that. Let's get going into the next hour on a Wednesday night. 5 questions from Chris is upon us. Rapid City has some big decisions to make. It's all coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name. Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
We're talking with Britt Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Britt, one of the injuries we hear a lot about in sports, an ACL tear. You can't prevent all injuries, but good sports performance training could help.
Yeah, Nate, one of the things that a lot of good sports performance training focuses on is trying to not only prepare athletes for the field of sport, but also try to mitigate their risk to sustain an injury. Unfortunately, things happen in sport. If anybody ever does experience an ACL tear that results in needing surgery to fix that, it's important to have a therapist on your side who can help them through prehab, rehab, and then return to sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a long time to get back to the field of sport, but it's not impossible to do it all by any means. So just having that end goal in mind can be really beneficial for the rehab process.
When it comes to ACLs and sports performance training and treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're ready. Glad you're here. Wednesday night, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Thor Nystrom's coming up. Our next guest live from Minneapolis, covering the NFL draft, one of the best NFL draft analysts in the country. Thor Nystrom's been putting in the work, NFL draft analyst live, coming up with Score North from the Twin Cities. He's on tap. People are saying after Fernando Mendoza, it's kind of light. We'll get into that. Cole Payton's one of the guys to watch, North Dakota State. I just saw North Dakota State stat from the draft. Wild. I'm going to get into that. Thor Nystrom's on tap. The Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union. I want you to know being a member at BHFCU has been the right choice for me and my family. That's our banking partner. Get a bank that works for you. Great rates right now when you're looking at vehicle loans, maybe your business loans, personal loans, home loans. Get there to BHFCU.com. Take a look. Great service, technology, convenience, BHFCU.com. 18 locations across South Dakota from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Become a member. It's easy. And get started and get a bank that has great benefits. BHFCU.com. Start there tonight. All right. A lot coming up. Rapid City with a big announcement when it comes to schools and everything that entails. I'm gonna get into that. It's time to go on a quest. Time to go on an information quest. That's coming up. First, it is a Wednesday. You know what we got?
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
One of our favorite segments of the week. 5 questions from Chris. Our loyal listener, Chris, sends me 5. Let's get going, Chris. What do you got? Question number 1. Nate, we are about 2 weeks into baseball. One thing is clear, the ABS challenge system, that there's some success with catchers on their challenges, not so much with batters. Okay, catcher success rate, challenging pitches, 65%. Batters, a little under 50%. Why do you think catchers are being successful with challenging pitches? Because they're always the ones that try to cheat. They're the frame experts. They know when it's not a strike. They know. They can tell the catchers have the best feel. They have the best feel. They see so many pitches. They know exactly where it's supposed to be. Batters, not quite. By the way, this ABS challenge system, I've been watching some of the games. It's fine to call some of these. I mean, some are like 2 inches off. But then some are like 0.1. I mean, are we really that much of a mess that we going to call a ball or a strike 0.1 inches wrong and we have a fit? No wonder we have a fit about everything. Catchers more successful at this point. We'll see how this goes, the pitch challenge system. I'm not like a huge fan. Not a huge fan. Saw it last night with my Cubbies. I mean, come on. Question number 2. Is it good for college basketball and men's and women's that the coaches have become celebrities rather than some of the actual players of the game? When we were growing up, we had big players, Christian Laettner, Allen Iverson, the list goes on. Now it's coaches with big personalities. That's interesting you point that out, Chris. You are correct in a lot of ways. Like, I know we were watching Dan Hurley the other night. Were you not? Monday night, are you not? I mean, why do you think the camera goes to Dan Hurley all the time? They don't go to Dusty May hardly at all. Dusty May's boring. They go to Dan Hurley all the time. Like, Dan Hurley is a celebrity amongst college basketball fans. I mean, are you watching some of the game to watch Dan Hurley? I think you are. I mean, every cutaway going to break is slow motion of Dan Hurley's reaction stuff. But I don't think that's bad, Chris. I think big personalities in a sport is good. Whether it's a player or a coach, you need big personalities. And whether you love or hate Dan Hurley, he brings it. Question number 3. It's expected in the next few weeks the NCAA could announce that March Madness will expand to 76 teams. Do you think we will then see the Power 4 conference eliminate their conference basketball tournaments? Because then it'll be just about getting into the tournament. No, I don't think you will, Chris. I think that's drastic. You're going to have the Big Ten tournament, the ACC tournament, the Big 12, the SEC. You're going to have the tournament. Number one, they make money off those tournaments. Huge, huge sponsorships, TV coverage. So you got money in the conference tournament still. Wherever there's money with the NCAA and the conferences, they are there. They're ready and they're there. So you will not eliminate the conference tournaments. You think about football, though, it's like the conference championship games aren't very important anymore. Could it go that route? Yeah, you're probably going to see it's probably not that important, but they're going to have the conference tournaments in college hoops. 76 teams. Are we going to get there? Are they going to announce that? I have a feeling they will. They've been talking about it. I think they're going to get there. Question number 4. 5 questions from Chris tonight. Question number 4. Many basketball fans were surprised to see North Carolina hire Mike Malone. He's going to be the second highest paid college basketball coach now. We rarely see a successful NBA coach become a college coach. Do you think Malone and the Tar Heels will be successful in this partnership? That's hard for me to. It really is. I asked Kerry Miller, college basketball writer. He's covered North Carolina and the ACC a lot. He said, I just have no clue. I have no clue. Here's what I'm going to say about Mike Malone. I've watched him quite a bit with the Nuggets. Really good basketball guy, really competitive, fiery. I think his fit is better with the college game than most people would realize. A lot of college basketball fans may be like, Mike Malone, NBA? I mean, this isn't going to be good. I think it's going to be good for the basketball side of this. Can he be the transfer portal recruiter side of this? That's the question I have. Can he be a schmoozer, a basketball recruiter? You got to be able to wine and dine and wheel and deal and have the money and make sure guys want to play there. He's not going to be like lovey-dovey, okay? Dan Hurley's not either, so that's what I want to watch. That's what I want to watch. The dynamic, Mike Malone's personality and the recruiting side of this, which he hasn't had to do in like forever. He was on a college bench, 25 years ago. He hasn't had to do that stuff forever. Will it be successful? Like North Carolina back amongst the big boys? I think so. I'm going to give him yes. I'm going to give you a yes on that, Chris. Question number 5. Speaking of the Tar Heels, what do you think of Michael Jordan? He's now at a racetrack more than he is a basketball court. Do you think Michael Jordan is still influential with the younger generations of basketball players and fans? Of course. Of course. Chris, come on now. This is Michael Jordan. Have you seen these uniforms that Michigan's wearing? You see the uniforms Monday night? They had Air Jordan on it. Air Jordan. He's all over the place. You bet. Michael Jordan. I don't know what he's doing in this NASCAR thing. He's just like off the charts winning NASCAR races, and he's a competitive guy. He loves NASCAR. Michael Jordan is always going to be influential. Always going to be influential. I know, I'm an old man yelling at the clouds. 5 questions from Chris in the books. Coming back with Thor Nystrom, NFL draft analyst. Where does he think Cole Payton from North Dakota State will go at quarterback? Hi, Thor Nystrom on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but...
Alignment right here, right now. We have top-of-the-line equipment with skilled...
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. It is the Nate Brown Show live. Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. A lot to cover tonight. NFL draft's coming. Have you checked out Thor 500? Have you checked this out, Thor Nystrom? The Thor 500. It's new Substack, okay? ThorKU.substack.com. Have you checked this out? I want to give you a heads up. Thor Nystrom's got his draft coverage, NFL Draft Substack's excellent, okay? ThorKU.substack.com, the Thor 500, getting ready. And Thor Nystrom is on tonight, NFL Draft Analyst from the Twin Cities. He's with Score North. Thor, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Good, man. So you've been working this. You're ready. The Thor 500. I mean, how hard is this? Yeah, I mean, how hard is it to put together the Thor 500?
Oh, man, it's a multi-year endeavor following all these players, watching all the college football, that we do, and then watching all the cut-ups and tracking these guys through the years and getting all their measurables, all their data, all the testing data, everything, and coming up with 500 comps to have my 500-player big board. So it's a journey.
I believe that. So you've been doing this a while. You've become one of the leading guys in the country, so I appreciate the work. It's good stuff. We'll talk about your Thor 500 and the Substack. I want to discuss a couple of things around the draft here. One that the national media is grabbing onto is Fernando Mendoza not going to the draft. People say this is the number one pick. He's not going to the draft. What should we say about that?
I think it's a nothing burger. If a guy wants to go there, I mean, he's worked his whole life for that. If he wants that moment to be up on the stage and get his picture shaking hands with the commissioner, then you have that opportunity. If you'd rather spend it with your family and your close friends in a party that you set up, I have no problem with that either. What Joe Thomas years ago, remember he was out on the fishing boat during the draft? I mean, we've had all kinds of guys, but yeah, no story for me. Whatever you want to do is go with me.
Okay, what do you think the fans say? I guess people would say, hey, if the Raiders get him, the fans are there. They want their guy to be there. Maybe have a little celebration there. Is that viable?
They will get over it if Fernando Mendoza leads them to the playoffs, would be, I think, more to the point with that one. So, right. I mean, they've had plenty of exposure to him. They're going to get their pictures with him, whatever. And I'm sure on ESPN, they'll get him on the cam for a little interview after he gets picked.
All right. Fernando Mendoza saying he's not going to the draft. He's just going to stay with his family and friends. Speaking of this draft class, I'm talking QBs now. You tell me, you followed this now, you've worked the whole thing. Is this QB draft class not a great one? How do you evaluate it?
Yeah, it's definitely down. After Mendoza, and Mendoza's really good, so it's no slight to him, but it is sort of a one quarterback class. To me, Ty Simpson is a round 2 type guy. Okay. You know that I love Cole Payton. He's been QB3 on my board for a long time. I see him more at maybe early round 3 kind of thing. You have to develop him for a year. I love the tools there, but you do have to accommodate that in. And then, guys like Drew Allar and Garrett Nussmeier, after both those guys had really bad seasons, and they both have injury concerns, and so you just have a whole bunch of uncertainty there. If you want to take a quarterback after Mendoza, really, you're going to be taking a chance on someone.
Can you give us an inside feel, an inside look at who you think Cole Payton is? You're saying third round, maybe. He's got to be developed. What type of player is Cole Payton out of NDSU?
I think he's what people wanted Tim Tebow to be, at least on the field. It's 6'2", it's 230. It's a fabulous athlete. It's a really tough runner. It's just Cole Payton has more arm talent than Tebow ever did, in particular down the field. And you saw all the damage that he did down the field this past season at NDSU. The touch he has, the placement downtown. He's not a perfect thrower yet, for sure. Obviously, there's limited experience as well. You're going up a couple levels coming from the FCS, so you are going to have to work a little bit with him. And I think you can do stuff to mold your offense around his game as well, maybe to help his acclimation initially. You have the thing where you have both the short game efficiency type stuff when you factor in his legs, and then you have the long ball with him. And so in offense that can leverage those kind of things and the spacing that his ability to throw down the field opens up, I think will be beneficial to him.
Thor Nystrom talking tonight, NFL draft analyst. He's with Score North out of the Twin Cities. He's got the Substack coming out. You want to see this, ThorKU.substack.com. Your draft coverage right there, and the Thor 500 coming out with his comps of all these players. So Mendoza, number one for sure. Is he a starter right away? The Raiders just picked up Kirk Cousins. How does that play out?
I think he could be. It's interesting the contract they gave Cousins, though, isn't it? Like Kyler Murray and Tua, they both got the minimum contracts, and Geno would have, if not for that like last-second trade where most of the contract was picked up anyway, so it was basically the same financial transaction. But yet Cousins somehow figures out a way to get more than the money he was guaranteed, and you would think that would be indicative of the Raiders at least telling him that you have a good shot to start out of the gate. And, you know, they can certainly do that, and there's data you could look at that would suggest that waiting a little bit is better for the starting quarterback. I just feel that Mendoza has enough experience at this time, and you saw him last year, the undefeated season. I think he's ready to go right away, and I'm not sure after last season, like, what you're going to do to break his confidence. So for me, I would just get it over with and take your lumps early on. The Raiders aren't going to be competing next year either way, but that's just what I would do.
Okay, let's go to the Vikings here a little bit, Thor. I just want to get your feel on the quarterback situation right now. We know Kyler Murray's getting ready to go. Where's the J.J. McCarthy scene at right now? What's that like right now with Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, he was down in California training, personal trainer here last month, and then now is back at the facility. He's been working out every day, and apparently is having a great off season. The Vikings say that Kevin O'Connell, he swears that it's going to be a fair competition. If it is, I think this summer is going to be really interesting. I'm just sort of curious, how do you have a fair competition early in camp, but then by the end of camp and going into the season, have built an offense that is tailored to your starting quarterback? It goes without saying that McCarthy and Kyler have different kinds of games, and of course people assume that Kyler is going to win that job. But if it is a fair competition, what if JJ goes and upsets him? I think either way, O'Connell's challenge is going to be, how do I tailor that offense to the guy who ends up winning that job by the end of camp, again, while doing justice to a legitimate training camp battle, if indeed it is.
Okay, that's what I want to say. You know, Vikings fans are saying this is indeed not a quarterback battle. That's what most people are saying. What do you really say?
Well, I'll say this. Based on Kevin O'Connell, the track record, it is really difficult to believe the things that he says to the media. He even last year, and I'll give him credit on this, there was, I forgot the specific instance, but he even said there, like, obviously I'm not telling you guys the truth when I'm up here, you know, like, he doesn't have to. It's not against the law. You can, if it's to your team's prerogative, you can outright lie to the media. So you do have that. The insiders that, you know, have been most plugged in with the Vikings, they also swear that it is going to be a legitimate competition. But again, I think the thing is and we haven't had this laid out. I think people maybe would be more comfortable with the idea of that if there was a finite plan that was pointing towards, this is how we can have a legitimate battle at the beginning of camp that will lead us to objectively the best guy a couple weeks in, but where it's not going to drag out long enough where we can't tailor an offense to the starter by the time we start the season, because you're going to have to do that, right? So there's going to be a point of demarcation where it has to go from the camp battle to, okay, this is the QB1, and okay, now we're going to build the offense around him. And with Kyler, we know he likes being out of the shotgun. We know he likes scrambling around. The last couple of years, they did the 12 personnel. The Cardinals did it. One of the highest preponderances in the league, and he was in 2 years ago, he was pretty good. His best season, though, was with 3 wide receivers. So at this point in his career, and with, you know, molded in with O'Connell, what does he prefer to do? And O'Connell has been a lot more under center traditionally. I think you have to go to shotgun if Kyler's in there. With JJ, you could stay more under center. So you just have to sort of unspool all that stuff. But yeah, I do agree with Viking fans that it is difficult to trust the things that Kevin O'Connell says.
Thor Nystrom is on tonight. Find him on X at ThorKU. His Substack is ready to roll. ThorKU.substack.com. Join the mailing list. It's free. You can get all of his NFL draft coverage right there. The NFL draft Substack coming out from Thor. So who do you think the Vikings, well, I don't want to say who, where are the Vikings going to go in this draft? What can they get somebody right away, impact player?
I definitely do think that they can. This draft is a little bit better with defenders than, of course, it is with like sexy offensive position type guys. And it is early on, at least, it is stocked with at the positions that the Vikings have needs at. In particular, safety early on, the most ubiquitous mock draft selection outside of Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders, of course, as you know, has been Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings at 18. But if Thieneman's off the board before then, would they go to Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, commonly thought of as the third safety in the class? Or if they wouldn't, and or McNeil-Warren is also off the board at that time, I think interior defensive line is an interesting position to look at. But those guys, the top guys, their stock is all fallen during the pre-draft process. Peter Woods had a terrible pre-draft process. Caleb Banks's was even worse because he broke his foot at the NFL Combine. So is there any interior defensive lineman that the Vikings would think about there? One dark horse for you, Nate, at 18 for the Vikings is this guy is never talked about with the Vikings because he's listed as an edge defender, and the Vikings have 3 good edge defenders, so you're never going to mock an edge defender to the Vikings. So this one is sneaky, but I think the Vikings, they like Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher from University of Auburn, and I think he is a good fit for Brian Flores' scheme as a 3-4 defensive end, which is not an edge rusher, it's an interior defensive lineman, which again I think is why this is never thought of. You look at Keldrick Falk, his measurements next to Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, who's a defensive lineman that the Vikings took last year in the draft, also out of the SEC, they are nearly identical. The defensive ends in Brian Flores' system typically end up looking a lot like and playing a lot like Keldrick Falk. That's your dark horse.
All right, good stuff. Really good stuff from Thor Nystrom. Last one, outside of Mendoza, which QB will be an NFL QB in his career? Do any of these guys become starters?
You know I'm going to put my roulette chip on Cole Payton. I love the physical ability so much, and the dichotomy of that game, of the efficiency he can give you as a runner with the ability to hit home runs down the field. I trust, we're going to work with him. We're going to bring him in. But these other guys, the issue with these other quarterbacks, very few of them have upside even if they hit. Right, that's why the quarterback class, it just drops off so quickly. If Cole Payton hits, almost assuredly he comes out of this class as the second best quarterback, if not the best. So Cole Payton would be the guy I'd put my chip on.
Thor Nystrom is on tonight. Get his Substack, thorku.substack.com. NFL draft analysis right there with Score North. Thor, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Nate.
Appreciate it. Thor Nystrom on tonight. Again, free to join the mailing list. He's got the Substack NFL Draft. thorku.substack.com. The Thor 500. 500 comps of all the players. His comps coming out on Tuesday. Thor Nystrom, NFL Draft Analyst from the Twin Cities. He is with Score North. A little Vikings action there. Hey, Vikings fans. That QB battle is over. I've made my decision. It's Kyler Murray's show, and it's going to be a good one. You got to get your tickets. As a matter of fact, my brother's a longtime Vikings fan. He has not been to U.S. Bank Stadium. He lives in Wyoming, and I think we're going to have to go watch Kyler this year. I think we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to get tickets to watch Kyler. It's time to take my brother to a Vikings game at U.S. Bank just because Kyler's in town. This is it. This is the year. All right. No, the QB battle's over. Kyler Murray's team. Rapid City has big decisions to make. I want to discuss this because it all comes together. Schools, activities, communities. This is a big one for Rapid City. My thoughts coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Andersen has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Andersen has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Andersen. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Calling all basketball teams, it's time to box out the competition. The Box Out Basketball Tournament's taking over the Box Elder Event Center May 29th through 31st. The tournament's open to 5th through 10th grade boys and girls with limited team spots available. Friday and Saturday feature pool play, leading to Sunday's bracket play for the win. Fast-paced games, big plays, unforgettable moments at the best facility. Register now at thebox.live.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Time to talk some South Dakota topics. We got to get into this tonight, okay? So have you guys seen Harrisburg, the school district, improvements over the past, 10 years? Harrisburg, nice school, right? Nice school. They've got nice schools. They've got nice facilities. I mean, top-of-the-line stuff. You guys know this. Anybody listening that have their kids go to Harrisburg? I mean, this is top-shelf stuff. And when people come from West River or around South Dakota, they go to Harrisburg. I've heard that. They're like, man, yeah, I played in some basketball tournaments there, took a youth team there a couple of years ago. And it's like, man, this is good stuff. This is nice stuff. Well, you know what Harrisburg has done? They've passed numerous school bonds. Numerous school bonds. Not just like, hey, we're going to do one in like 40 years, you know? No, they've done numerous improvements. And people have thought about, hey, we want to make sure the kids are taken care of, the education's great, safety's great, facilities are great. I mean, they've done some really nice stuff from the academic side to the athletic side. I mean, it is top of the line. And I say that because the Rapid City Area Schools Board of Education just voted last night 7-0, the board. This is a unanimous from the board. 7-0 to do the school bond for the November ballot coming up. This is to address aging infrastructure. I mean, aging schools. Okay? And by the way, this bond for Rapid City is $107 million. Okay, that's the number. And people say, well, what's that all mean? You can see the breakdown if you're interested in this, and I encourage you to get educated on it. I really do. And I'm going to be discussing this. I'll talk to some folks that are involved and get some insight and details what this all means, but I won't break everything down here tonight. But by the way, this is just for like minimal. This is like to make sure that we're kind of okay moving forward. This isn't for bells and whistles. This isn't for new football stadium. This isn't for a new gym. None of that. New fields. This isn't for that stuff. Schools have done that, by the way, in South Dakota. It's like, hey, we want this and that, and the academic side and the athletic side. It all goes part of a great education. No. Rapid City's just doing, like, upgrades that they have to do, like air conditioning, kind of. Like schools that haven't been changed since the 50s. That type of stuff. So this is easy, folks. If you're in Rapid City, this is easy stuff. They are looking at a new elementary school. That's the biggest one. New elementary school would be in South Rapid City. Crowded enrollment, the whole thing in that area. So this is the easy stuff. This isn't like, this is how they want fancy this. They're going to do a new complex, athletic football stadium. Nah, forget it. People knew nobody would go for that. People knew, no. I mean, the booger eaters won't go for that stuff, right? The sports haters and stuff. So that's all gone. That's done. This is basic school stuff. Improvements to elementary schools, improvements to high school at Stevens. There is some good, important things in here. And the last bond that was passed in Rapid City, 1973. My goodness. Do I have a vested interest? Yes. My kids go to school. My spouse is an educator. I have a big vested interest. But guess what? When a lot of the stuff's like done and stuff, my kids are basically going to be done. So I was like, my kids are going to be done. I don't care if they're going to be done. You got to make this stuff happen. Education, the future. Do we care about the kids, the educational side of this? This isn't bells and whistles. This is needed stuff. Just have to do it. $107 million bond. What does that mean? The average tax for Rapid City voters, the average taxes would go up $16 a month. It's like, I don't want property taxes anyway. I understand. $16 a month on average, the addition. Better education, schools, infrastructure. You just have to have it. Renovations got to be made. New construction of schools, safety, security, infrastructure. Got to have it. Just got to have it. So that was just voted on last night by the board. It'll be on the November ballot. I think it's important to discuss it. This isn't about anything to do with sports, anything like that. This is about education, the bare minimum to make sure that we keep the community solid, education and the kids in a good environment, in a much improved environment. Just got to have it. Got to have it. Coming right back. Who's hot and who's not. Speaking of education, why you should be a high school athlete. New research out today. Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
When you win the new Millionaire for Life daily draw game from the South Dakota Lottery, you don't just win $1 million a year for the rest of your life. you win the chance to do whatever you want, like bring a hot dog cannon to a wedding reception. But just because you could doesn't mean you should. What would you do if you became a millionaire for life, playing Millionaire for Life from the South Dakota Lottery?
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Trav's Outfitter might be the newest place on the block, but when it comes to ladies and kids' Western boots, our crew knows them like no one else. We're talking real experts helping you find the right fit and the right style. And when it comes to Western boots for kids and ladies, we dare you to compare. More styles, more sizes, one of the largest selections anywhere. Come see the people who know boots best. The old Kmart building, Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 31. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour. A blend of clouds and sun again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 56. Clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 30. Partly cloudy Friday with highs in the upper 50s. Slight chance of rain showers Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and a location in Brandon. Stop by, home of everyone's favorite buffet, locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Supporting our community and feeding our community the best buffet in town. Stop by the Pizza Ranch this week. Great buffet. Love it. In my Who's Hot category, new research out tonight. This is just from the Washington Post article I saw here. High school athletes have better school attendance, up to 20% fewer absences, and a lower risk of chronic absenteeism compared to non-athletes in high school. So take that one. The sports fans, you got to love it. High school athletes, better school attendance, up to 20% fewer absences than non-athletes. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe it. If Cole Payton gets drafted from North Dakota State, and he will, I don't know where, but Thorne Nystrom's on earlier tonight. He's thinking maybe third round, the quarterback at NDSU. If Cole Payton gets drafted, or when he does in 2.5 weeks, North Dakota State will be tied with Ohio State and Alabama for the most quarterbacks drafted the past 11 years. Can you believe that? Why is that in my Who's Not? Because it's NDSU. NDSU, Alabama, Ohio State in a three-way tie for most quarterbacks drafted the past 11 years. The worst stat of the day. I could not believe that one. Thanks for listening tonight. The Nate Brown Show in the books for a Wednesday. We are back tomorrow better than ever. Rob Kagron is ready to roll. It's Masters Week. Thursday happy hour and more. If you miss parts of the program tonight, catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. It is going up right now, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
In towns all across South Dakota, it's your banker, the kids' Little League coach, and your brother-in-law who are the